HBN members. This is Angela coming to you with another interview. Today we have Natalie Lawson, and I am so excited to introduce her to our group, and she's an amazing human. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself in a minute, but first we're going to do some this or that questions. She hasn't gotten these before, so she'll just answer off the cuff. All right, so Natalie, coffee or tea?
Tea, but
Okay.
both.
Okay, tell me why tea came first.
I never liked coffee until after I had my third child. And then I'm a big convert. But tea has so much ritual to it, and you sit there and you wait, and there's the steam, and then finally you can drink it, and it's good for all the senses.
I love it. Okay, so you're a tea girl. I am too. I feel like the kind of caffeine that tea has is less kind of jarring than like coffee. For me, yeah, but I get you. I'll do coffee as well. Okay, second question. Beach or mountain vacation and why?
Beach, but also both. I mean, I'm really bad at decisions, but I'm just imagining my feet in the sand and how it like exfoliates your feet, and you have a little bit of cold, but you also have the warm. The mountain is great because I'll hike up a storm and you breathe and you get the views, but I guess I'll go with beach at the moment.
Okay. All right. And this one is a tricky one because I think it could go either way for me. But would you go with an audiobook or an actual physical book and why?
That's easy for me personally because I don't have much time for audiobooks and I do like my peace and quiet. And when I curl up with an actual book,
Hmm.
that's the only way I can really connect with it.
Okay, I love it. So are you the kind of person who at the end of the day, you have your tea, you have your book, and you're just like, okay, everybody just like that's enough, no more. So I love it. Okay. I love it. Okay, so this last one is pretty, some people are like, yeah, this is a definite like easy one, but cat or dog person and why?
We have two cats right now, but I think I'm more of a dog person
That's
just
interesting.
because that's what I had when I was younger. What
Oh, what was your dog's
about you?
oh, well, I feel like I'm neither. I should have
Oh,
offered a third option. So I think I'm pretty allergic to dog dander. So I guess I could go with like a low hair, low dander breed, whatever puppy, but I don't have it in me for like picking up, you know what. So anyways, and then cats are kind of funny because they don't really, they come across as like they don't care. And they look, you know this, Natalie, like they live in their own world. And so I think I could probably, if I had to choose, it would be a cat, but thanks for asking. I so appreciate. So that's the this or that like segment. And so we're going to get into the interview. And what the interview will include is kind of a little bit about your business, which I know is in the initial stages, and I love that. And so we have 8 questions. We'll go over the 8 questions, and at the end, it's kind of like an open-ended like ask of support of our members. So the first question is, can you share a bit about yourself and what inspired you to start your own business? But of course, we want you to tell us what the business is, and then the inspiration.
great. I'm in my 40 somethings, and my children are kind of a little bit more grown ish, you could say. There's no toddlers, they can feed themselves if they're hungry. I am inspired because this is the first chance that I've gotten with a little bit of free time. All of the ideas and all of the injustices that I used to ruminate over when I was rocking them or breastfeeding late nights, and you're just thinking, what could be better?
Mhm.
And that's my inspiration to provide something that would be better to the new moms who are going through this journey, some sort of educational platform, probably an app that will deliver content during 4 trimesters of their motherhood journey. If I could create that when I'm going to, that is my business. That's my calling. The inspiration is just to help someone not be in my shoes, not feel that isolation. And I come from my mom, who's no longer with us, but she started her own business where she wanted to be able to earn money at home while we were in school so she could still be a stay-at-home mom but still work. So I hope to follow in her footsteps.
All right, tell us the name of your business. I probably should have started with that.
No, that's cool. And once again, it feels so awesome to be on here talking about it as if it is already an entity. In
Yeah.
my mind and my being, it feels like it just needs to be out there, already an entity. But I don't have the chance to talk about the name of it with people all of the time. I'm always in creation mode. So this feels so good. It's called the birth formula. And so someday you'll see an app and you'll click on it and it's the birth formula.
I love it. I love it. So what I hear is that you were inspired by a couple of things. Is one, your own journey as a mom. So you have four kids, right, Natalie? And
Yes.
basically, you were looking at the idea of having a ongoing support system that is what I would say is the answer to something that you wanted as a mom and going through the whole birth to, yeah, or whole pregnancy to birth process. So I get it. And so the inspirations really, it comes down to seeing one, your mom was, I take it she was an entrepreneur in some aspects, so she was able to do it. So you're looking at like legacy as well. And then the idea of having a community, because that's what we talked before, that is educational by, by the nature of it. But ultimately, it's the answer to a lot of problems I feel like that we as women have around being alone or being, in this isolated place and not knowing who to talk to when you're pregnant and you're grumpy. Honestly, I've been there at 5 and you're just wondering what is going on. So I love this. I love this idea. And that's why we're here. So, okay, we're going to go to question 2. What services would you like to offer and how would others benefit from those services?
Well, hopefully, if we get this a home run, if we're gonna be really good at our job, what we're gonna help that new mother feel like they are connected with the other students who are going along this journey with her, whether it be in person or online. It'll start online, but the goal is to turn everybody back around to their local community. If we have a lot of users, there will be large groups in your local communities. That's something that people already could experience because if you have a good OBGYN, you might be meeting up with some mothers on your same journey in that regard. But what we will be doing differently is the 4 trimesters of content will be focused more on gently discovering anything that may or may not happen throughout pregnancy. No scare tactics. There's going to be a number of different educators, experts in pelvic floor health, experts in prenatal nutrition, any expert that you might need to tell you
Yeah,
anything. This is going to be a really wide variety, all in a really gentle format. The other focus is going to be self-care. You'll be able to click on this meditation or these journaling prompts, and then you can get together with maybe your local group or your online group and talk it out. Finally, and most importantly, in the 4th trimester, which is after the baby comes out, those next 3 months before they start learning to crawl or sit up, and when they're still, well, I like to say they're an alien during that time, it is the 4th trimester. They still need to be attached to the mom, and you're getting no sleep at all. You're just caring for this newborn. There's going to be access to some mental health professionals via phone call or some way to help the moms make sure that they are getting what they need.
I love it. So the benefits in essence are it's a support network, but it's also like services that you feel like is a must have. Like if you are alone and you're dealing with a baby that's crying all night and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like the next day you're sleep deprived, you're exhausted, you have laundry piled up, the baby's probably still not sleeping well. You want to offer in this app, hopefully it becomes an app. I think that's a brilliant idea support. So whether it's a health practitioner or it could even, I love the one thing you told me about, which were the 7 sisters. So I would love for you to just talk a little bit about that, if that's the right time now or later on. But I feel like the support network is basically what you're saying is the major benefit.
Yes, yes. If you didn't have this app, such as how I was feeling, you end up wondering, why is it like this? There are moms around everywhere telling me the same story as what I'm feeling. If I'm hearing this echoed back to me from every single mom that I know, we're all in isolation and we all don't understand why there's no support. And you read articles about Switzerland where they send you a box because you just had a baby or something. So every single one of the trimesters of content that I want to deliver is pragmatically, and it's not really designed yet, but in my mind, man, let me tell you, it is pragmatically designed to connect you in your actual reality. So you don't feel out of touch with reality when the time comes. That's how we all ended up. So what Angela is talking about, the first trimester, hopefully everyone learns about this app and joins right at the start. And if they don't, they can catch it up even if they're in their third trimester. It's no pressure. But when you're in your first trimester, you're all excited, you're taking pictures of your little bump, and you're just getting into it. I'm going to take that time to deliver the kind of content where you are creating a support system from the people who you already know that love you. You might have 7 people, you might have more, you might have less. That's not going to be a problem. The idea is, imagine when you're getting married and you have a great bunch of gals who want to be all of your bridesmaids and do this for you, do that for you. The 7 sisters is a concept that I heard on one of my friend's baby showers. But I want to ramp it up compared to how she had it. It just gave me so much inspiration. If we had 7 jobs taken care of by 7 people who really want to support us, maybe other moms who remember the isolation, they're going to just jump right in there. Everybody knows about Meal Train, you know. There's going to be the person who is going to accompany you on your first couple of excursions out of the house. You're not used to buckling that tiny, fragile little thing into the seat belts, and his head or her head is wobbling. And you might not feel steady on your feet. You're still recovering, but you're required to go to that first baby checkup, or you're required to get some groceries at the grocery store. Who did you contact ahead of time who understands that you don't have to do that alone? And there's 7 of them, but for now, I'll leave it at that.
I love it because it's just basically like if we all carry a little bit of the weight, the bundle will be carried, right? There was some better saying than that, but I love that. I love that's probably the best thing ever that I think everybody would tap into immediately because the two of us know that it's a lot. And I think there's some kind of level of like, I don't know, societal shame and asking for help, like as far as like not being able to handle it, you can't handle it kind of thing. And I'm like, I'm trying. It's so hard. And then if you have other kids on top of having the baby, I don't know. I feel like people assume you should be superwoman. And I just like, I love that the 7 sisters can just come out and support you so you're not feeling overwhelmed and yeah, stressed out. So I love that concept. Were you gonna say something, Natalie? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wanting to echo what you're saying, and it's not just localized on new mothers. It's rampant across the society where everybody is supposed to handle more than there should be handling. It's just modern days. But for new moms, especially because we're in charge of bringing up those little ones, I want every new mom to feel that she is in her right mind. We cannot overlook how valuable it is for a new mom to be functioning at equilibrium as best as we can. The old historical traditions of cultures, they got this right. And how could we get back to that?
Okay, so we're on question number 3, and this is about less about the actual business. We're going to step back for a second and look at the process of creating the business. So this question is, in your opinion, Natalie, what's more valuable for entrepreneurs, mentorships or partnerships, and why?
I like that question. I would love to know the answer to that question. I'm the brand newest entrepreneur that you ever will meet.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, I would have to say mentors, because that's what I would need right now. And I'm looking so forward to the future. I can just picture it in my mind. I'm sure I'll have a business partner.
Mm.
I'm sure that will be needed. But right now, the answer is 100% mentors.
So when you think about a mentor, like what is the value that you feel like you would want right now? Like what is it that that mentor could do to support you?
Is somewhat accountability,
Mm.
not accountability like I'm going to accidentally forget to do this or that, but accountability who's been through it before.
Yeah.
What if I accidentally didn't know I was supposed to do this or that? I don't want to get onto a step and then have to backtrack, or I'm all the time, I'm just Googling up a storm
Yeah.
asking if you use this name for your LLC, the future will this or that. Like, I just want to make sure I get every step correct as I do them. I don't want any backtracking. So that's what I would want. The mentor would be able to, I would follow in their footsteps and I would have much more confidence.
I have to agree. I feel like I went to UCLA and I had this one professor. I was in the School of Education. His name was Chip Anderson. He said, the number one thing that I want you all to take away from this experience at UCLA is your degree, of course, but also to be a mentor and have one, period. That was his one thing, is like always like be that resource to someone else and also be someone who's willing to receive the same, you know. So I love that. I have to agree with you now. Like that's that one, people go back and forth whenever I ask the question, but I think they land on mentorship. So you're with the other most of us. Okay. So number four, so again, this series is about like pivots to purpose. So I wish I would have written a question in here that's a little bit more defined around your pivot, you know, but this is close enough. But it's, what pivots did you make before this business idea? So I think what I wish I would have done is to hear more of your story prior to the idea, when writing that question. So if you would just kind of like fill in a little bit of the gaps, like what did you do before? And then how did this particular, it's beyond a business, it's a passion, kind of develop as a result of your past experiences?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going on a zillion of years, however old I am. It's a zillions of years of teaching in so many capacities.
Mm.
And people would ask, "Oh, what are you going to be when you grow up?" And I would say, "A teacher."
Mm.
Going to get my degree in early childhood ed and then also elementary ed after that, I decided that I didn't want to be a part of the public education system, but that didn't stop me from teaching in other capacities.
Yeah.
I am a dancer. I love teaching I've taught dance to young children in the school system. Anything that doesn't need me to be in charge of anything in the public school.
Mm.
I'm so sorry if this sounds really negative, but dancing to the young children, the preschool teaching,
Mm.
I did that when I was getting my degree. And then chronologically, I taught for a year wilderness survival to teens.
Mm.
And I
Wow.
taught ballroom dance to adults.
Mm.
And I was going to become an integrative nutrition health coach. I have my certification to teach that in a one-on-one setting or group setting. That's when I started having some children.
Mhm.
That never really stuck. And so I guess that would be my pivot. I'm always a teacher. I always want to teach, and I still dance and teach dance to this day.
Wow.
But once my children started growing up, I said, okay, well, I can start getting coaching clients. And I also said, I don't have time. I don't have pouring my life into these four individuals. And I don't want any other individual who crosses my door to feel like I don't have enough to give them.
Mhm.
That was my pivot, but it wasn't a difficult pivot because immediately after I had those thoughts, that's when every single soapbox that I had ever thought of in the late nights. They all just came pouring out into notebook after notebook. So
Mhm.
the pivot was really easy. And immediately I just thought, well, if I have any time on my hands, I'm going to take small step after small step towards this.
I love it. And I think one of the things I like and why we're kindred spirits in a way is that I feel like we're both educators. And so we're going to always lean into our strengths, right? Which is like it's the power of learning, right? But I also like that you, instead of being like that lone ranger, right, that's going to teach, teach one, like a classroom, let's use the community as our teachers as well as our, leaders. And it sounds like the app would incorporate different people that would also be in your repertoire of teachers that could help, whether they're teachers or coaches or whatever the client would need. So is that true, Nellie? Is it that it's almost like a communal model of teaching in a way? Is that right, or am I off?
Yes, yes. I want to really curate the absolute best minds, not just the best minds, but the most connected. If if I'm talking to my midwife, for instance, and I say, "Hello, treasured midwife, will you help me out and go on the camera and teach something out of all of your years of birthing babies? Will you tell something that these students need to know?"
Mhm.
Is she going to be a little bit too gruff? I don't know. I don't think she would. I really need to curate personalities who are going to make every mom listening to the classes feel like they are being held and they are being just gently instructed and calmed. I need people who are confident in their material, but also loving in their delivery.
Yeah.
So it is going to be a really big outsource. In addition to getting the wheels running right now, the nuts and the bolts, there's going to come a time where everybody who wants to be a part of this is going to hear what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And Angela, just bless you for being someone who wants to hear me talk about this.
Yeah.
Things are starting and they're rolling, and I just love it. And what I wanted to tell you earlier when you were talking about your former teacher who said always either mentor, both mentor and have a mentor. I just really appreciate you, and you're doing that in action just by giving me this chance.
Oh.
And as more people are hearing it, they're going to want to join into this awesome vision. I'm not taking it's bigger. I'm not saying, oh, I'm a great teacher. Everybody listen to me teach for 4 whole trimesters. There's needs to be someone talking about um, what are you going to choose to do with your placenta afterwards? Or what's going to happen if your baby has a tongue tie? And
Mm.
there's so much information out there already. But we need to eliminate the problem when you've had this baby and you've run into these issues,
Mhm.
and the grand echo that I heard so many moms say is, but why didn't anybody tell me about that? Or I didn't even know about working on my pelvic floor health or eating this or that. Too much information comes at us as scare tactics,
Mhm.
but we're so localized. We read this one book and we have this OB, and so we know what we think we need to know. This will be so curated and you will feel so prepared.
Yeah.
It bridges that gap from feeling worried or nervous to feeling like you can have control.
Yep, I agree 100%. I'm always talking to people about getting in front of potential problems. And I think what you're doing is almost creating almost like a personalized guidebook, right? To preventing a lot of things. One is like you just I feel like if you're aware, number one, of your own eating, and how that impacts everything, right? Or if you're aware afterwards, like you said, the placenta, that there's things you can know about that before it's time. And they're like, what do you want to do? And you're like, I don't even, what are the options? You get what I'm saying? Like, so I
Yeah.
feel like everything you're saying is almost like getting in front of what potentially could be nerve-wracking. You're like going through enough. You know what I mean? Let like, learning as you're, doing, which is fine. But I also feel like let's get in front of a lot of this, and that will allow for ease. They say that the word disease has to do with being, the dis and ease has to do with like not being able to know what should know to prevent things. So I feel like just the idea of getting in front of things. So anyways, okay, let's move on, Natalie. So all right, so this is about just the entrepreneurial journey, and this is as a newer entrepreneur, what advice would you give to other female entrepreneurs about business? Like as you're going through this process, brand new to it, and I know you're saying like I'm at the very, very beginning, but I feel like you're at least 5 steps ahead, So what's something that you would say is good advice for someone who's thinking about, yeah.
Yeah. How much is there is sort of a metaphor for becoming a mom, becoming an entrepreneur. You're going to have this creation of love. And so I feel like I have some wisdom in that regard. People can follow in my footsteps if you understand that what you need will be given to you. Even my product, even when I deliver this awesome guidebook, like you called it, I love that. It doesn't replace the fact that a new mom will know what to do. They will know what to do as an entrepreneur as you take your steps, even though I don't know what all of my steps will be.
Mhm.
Have you ever experienced just being a part of the flow or expecting something good to happen
Mhm.
and taking the step with the knowledge that you will be carried? And if not, you'll get that sense just following your own intuition. It's the same for a mom, it's the same for an entrepreneur, I believe.
I agree. And okay, so let's see, what's next, Natalie? Like, what do you feel like is next for your business? I guess you can tell us where you are right now, and then just like kind of the next 1 or 2 steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where I am right now, I had the awesome opportunity to be a part of a local nonprofit who put on a 2-day workshop teaching the tiniest first steps to brand new entrepreneurs like me. And this is where I've met you, Angela. It was a wonderful time. So I have some direction. I have a micro grant to put towards enrolling my LLC with the state, buying my domain,
Yeah.
and I have some business lingo that I can accomplish my what's the word? These are new for me. I'm going to accomplish my, I'm so sorry, prototype. Yes, prototype.
Yes, yeah.
So instead of starting out with an app, I have my goals written out of who I'm going to contact and what's my time frame, and just getting on the good old iPhone camera, and they will be able to look at a class template that I will provide, unless they are really a great teacher who already has material. But you never know. If this is just a healthcare provider, they might not be accustomed to teaching in this fashion. So we'll push the play and they'll speak to the template, and then I'll have my prototype. If I put up 5 to 10, that's my goal, on just the website instead of the app, the next step would be to find willing people who are pregnant, or maybe if they were just recently pregnant, or if maybe they are older and wiser and they just want to help out by looking at it and giving me feedback. Those are my current action steps.
I love it. So we just have a few more minutes. And I guess my last question is how can, there's 1,000+ women in this organization. They're all over the country, international, and they're going to see you and they're going to hear this story about someone who saw a need for moms who are feeling what they feel and wanting to get rid of the kind of like what is seen as normal, which is being alone in this journey of being pregnant and all that. How can we support you? How can the HBN community support you?
Well, first of all, thank you, HBN, and thank you, Angela. I would love if this results in anybody reaching out, anybody who is either pregnant or has been pregnant or is a provider of some sort. Do you have curriculum? Do you feel comfortable teaching? And are you passionate about this goal? And just contact me. I can give my phone number and my email. Either I can speak it right now. Just let me know, Angela,
Sure,
if you
yeah,
would rather
whatever.
have it in a written.
I would love for you to say
Okay.
it because some people might be listening to this. I actually am going to make it
Yeah.
into a podcast. So yeah, whatever information you want to
Oh,
share.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do it both ways. I'll
Okay.
say it right now. So I mean, I don't know how professional this is. I just have a personal number. I'm just gonna give it out. I have the faith that somebody is gonna contact me who needs to, and that number is 480-246-7624. My personal email is mailingnatalie@gmail.com. And I can spell it, but it's pretty normal. MAILINGNATALIE@gmail.com.
Beautiful. So the ask is basically if there's some folks out there that have the similar experience and passion to move forward with creating a platform for women who are going through the pregnancy process and after that would be willing to teach or to mentor or to support or to be a part of that community where people can call them and they can be loving and provide content that is relevant to what your mission is, which is to really support women who are going through this. I feel like it's such a beautiful and tender space. And we're so vulnerable to a lot of things, and that we want to support them on the front end around just knowledge. Knowledge is power, I guess. That sounds like so cliche, but it really is. So you feel, like you said, empowered as a potential mom, a future mom. So I would love for you all at HBN to support Natalie. She is brand new to this. I think she's going to do awesome. Again, Natalie, can you say the name of your app and website that's going to be here soon? I hope.
Very soon, and it's called The Birth Formula.
I love it. So thank you so much, Natalie, for joining us. I know that this is something that is very brand new. So your courage coming on, sharing something that is just starting is amazing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. HBN members, please reach out to her. She shared her phone number and email. So thank you. All right. So bye for now.